What's up, you guys? How you doing? Josh here from Memento Productions, and today is the day I finally got my early Christmas gift, and I'm talking about the beautiful, the luxurious DJI Osmo. Let's crack this baby open and let's see what it can do. So, when you get your DJI Osmo, it comes in this awesome, cool guitar-looking case. It's a hard shell case, which is what I really like about it. So you can actually, put it on your shoulder like this with the shoulder strap, walk around. You can, if you accidentally bang it into a few things, nothing's gonna happen because it's a really nice, hard case. Now, I wouldn't go and drop it off a 10-story building, obviously, but it can take a few beatings if you just walk around with the case. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what it looks like. Okay, zippers are nice. All right, so let's open it up. Oh my God, here it is. The DJI Osmo. Woo! God, it's beautiful. And what's really badass about it, I can take my Inspire 1 camera, which is right here. So this is the Inspire 1 camera, and here is the Osmo camera. They're the same exact camera, except this one is white and this one is black. And the Osmo camera actually has gimbal locks on it, so it can't move unless you unlock the gimbal locks. On this camera, the Inspire camera, there are no gimbal locks, so it's always moving freely, which is kind of a minus. Obviously, the Inspire 1 came out before the Osmo, so they didn't think about putting gimbal locks on here. But you can use both of these on the Osmo. Here's the thing, I ran into a little bit of a problem while using the Inspire 1 camera on the Osmo, and you guys will run into this too if you also have an Inspire 1. Basically, this is gonna be a tutorial and review video about the Osmo, but I also wanna show you or tell you a little bit about my experiences with the Inspire 1 camera. So I was using the Osmo, and while using the Osmo with this camera, it worked perfectly. I took off this camera, put it back on the Inspire 1, and all my images were upside down. My footage was upside down, and I was like, what is going on? So I called DJI support, and they said that before you turn off your Osmo, make sure the camera is flipped upside down on the Osmo, then shut it off. Then put it back into your Inspire, and all the images should be flipped right side up again. So that was a little glitch I was a little scared about, but the DJI support was there every step of the way, and they guided me how to fix that issue. I'm sure it's a little bug, and they'll fix that in future firmware updates. So let's get on to the rest of the review of the DJI Osmo. So out of the case, it looks like this. You have your lens cap, you have your phone holder, which is aluminum. Oh, I love how it's not plastic. If you watch my other videos, you can see how much I really hate plastic. I can't stand plastic. It just makes everything feel so much cheaper. This is aluminum. It's real. It feels tough. And it can hold up to an iPhone 6s Plus, which is exactly what I will be using today. And it has this nice little gimbal padding here. We'll go ahead and remove that. Use that for packaging when you package your Osmo back up into the case. You can remove your lens cap, but be careful, it's not a regular lens cap. It's like a rubberized plastic piece that you have to kind of wiggle off the camera here. See, it's a little tough. But it's a decent lens cap there. All right, stock with the DJI Osmo comes a UV protector, so you can never scratch the actual lens. You have this little screw-on filter here that you can also replace with ND filters and cool stuff like that. So that's nice. I'm gonna go ahead and unfold this cell phone case just like that. Okay, and there's little arms here that are meant to hold your phone, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. First off, I want to go ahead and unlock the camera. How do I do that? Well, we have 3 different types of gimbal locks. We have one gimbal lock here that uses a switch. Just pop that up, and now our panning is unlocked, okay, which is cool. Let's go ahead and unlock the actual camera. So what we want to do is just twist it to the side like that. Now our camera is free. And then we go ahead and unlock this gimbal lock here by turning the arm this way, okay? So now our camera is completely free, all right? So now it's in danger mode, meaning that don't bump it into anything because you can break it. When it's locked up, it's a lot safer to carry around. Okay, so a reminder, when you turn on your DJI Osmo and your gimbal locks are enabled, it will sound a few beeps telling you, hey, you know, your gimbal locks are enabled, please turn off the Osmo and unlock the gimbal locks. It will not operate normally, or operate at all for that fact, with the gimbal locks enabled. So remember to always unlock your gimbal locks before using your camera, otherwise it just won't work. For those of you who are asking, how does it put all the footage on your phone? How do you see all the footage on your phone? It uses a Wi-Fi connection that has a range up to 82 feet, which is phenomenal. Basically, I can put the Osmo on a tripod and film myself and look at the iPhone. And on top of that, the iPhone serves as a remote controller for the Osmo. So I can wirelessly pan, tilt, and do all these types of cool things with the Osmo from 82 feet away. All right, so let's go ahead and show you guys how to link your phone to the Osmo. So unfortunately, I was a little bit too eager to open up my Osmo and start using it, so I already registered it with DJI. So when you first get your Osmo, you want to register it with DJI, otherwise it will not work. To put your phone on, all right, you release these phone holders, okay? Now basically this is a spring-loaded mechanism. So yeah, spring-loaded. I would have preferred a clamp, that would have been better, but that's what they included, is a spring, which probably won't last forever, unfortunately. But you can always buy these parts online. So to put on your phone, simply just put it in within the arms and stretch the phone out until you get it clamped in, just like that. There we go. This is an iPhone 6s Plus. So this is how it looks like. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pair up my iPhone 6s Plus to the DJI Osmo. So first off, since it is a Wi-Fi connection, you have to picture your Osmo as being like a router, okay? A router turned off means it will not output signal. So we need to always first turn on our Osmo. To turn on your Osmo, there's a switch on the side, on the right side here. Right here, I don't know if you can see it, it's a black switch with a little red dot on it. You wanna flip it down, and then you're gonna hear a beep. You're gonna have some green lights in the back flashing. That means that the Osmo is initializing. And as you can see, the Osmo is ready to rock. So now your router, or slash Osmo, is ready to broadcast Wi-Fi. So we wanna go ahead and turn on your phone, okay? I want to go ahead and switch to landscape mode on the iPhone. That way I can get a wide view of everything. I want to go to settings. Okay. Okay, once I'm in settings, I want to go to Wi-Fi and select Osmo. Now, it's gonna ask you to put in a password for your Osmo. The password is in the manual. It's 1234, 1234, and then that's what's gonna get you into your Osmo. All right, now it says we're connected to our Osmo Wi-Fi. You can go ahead and exit out of that and go to the DJI Go app. So you click on that. I own a DJI Inspire one as well, so you would have to scroll through your devices, and then once you get to Osmo, you click on camera. And then it's gonna access your Osmo's camera there. All right, make sure that's in focus there, there we go. Okay, so now we are online with the Osmo, which is phenomenal. So like I said before, you can wirelessly control your Osmo simply by tapping the center of the screen. This little blue circle will pop up and you will be able to manually, or actually wirelessly control your gimbal on your camera. As you can see, it's moving around, doing all this funky stuff, and it's fantastic. So that's how you do it. Let's talk about the buttons on the Osmo. You have a trigger here. This is responsible for all the shooting modes you have on your Osmo. Now, I usually hold the Osmo like anybody usually would, right? You have your index finger on the trigger. Now, you double click the trigger, it recenters the camera back to its original position. If you triple click the trigger, it goes to selfie mode. 1, 2, 3. Selfie, hey! And I took a picture with this black button here. There's 2 buttons and a joystick. So we have the record button for video, and we have the black button here for photo. And then we have a nice joystick here. Okay, so I want to recenter the camera back to its original position, so I double click the trigger. 1, 2. There we go. Now, we have a few other modes that I want to talk to you about. We have what is called the flashlight mode. And basically, it's like holding the Osmo like a flashlight, which is this way. So when you're holding it like this, again, you want to recenter the camera, and it will automatically detect the way you're holding the Osmo, and it will set itself to flashlight mode. So double click, 1, 2, and it's gonna center the camera like that, and now you're in flashlight mode. I love this mode. This is great for low shooting and for tracking. I usually use it in this mode. Okay, and we have one more mode, which is under mode. So let's say you're going low down to the ground. I'm holding it like this so you guys can better see. I'm holding it down to the ground like this, just picture that. And we double click the camera, or the trigger, and it resets like that, and we're now in ultra low mode. So this is if you want to track feet, the ground. It automatically knows how you're holding the Osmo, and it adjusts the camera accordingly. It's extremely smart. So I want to hold it back upright and center it back by double clicking the trigger. 1, 2. And there you go, it centers back by itself. Now the app, if you're familiar with DJI and you have a few of the products, you'll know how their app works. With the DJI Osmo, it is very, very simple. You have your home button here, you have your settings here. I'm not gonna go through all of this because there's already a video online about the app, the record button, the different photo modes, the different video modes. Now, I wanna talk to you guys about the negatives, okay? If you bought the Osmo, prepare for bad sound, okay? We have a mic jack here for external microphones like Rode, stereo video mics, but we have a tiny little thing here, which is the microphone. And unfortunately, the audio is garbage. I can hear the fans, the gimbal motors of the camera, and my hand moving around, and it goes right into the audio. And on top of that, the audio, the mic itself is not good quality. So I strongly recommend buying or using an external microphone or a lavalier microphone, because you can always hook it up to this mic jack in here. So this is what I did. They don't have the microphone adapters out yet, where you can mount it onto this. It's not out yet, it's on back order. Probably another few weeks from the date of this video, they'll be available. So what I did, I used a piece of Velcro here, and then I put another piece here, let me grab it. I put another piece of Velcro on the back of my Rode mic. And what I did, just stick it on here. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's good enough for what I need. All right, stick it on here, and it holds decently. And then you plug it in here, and now you have a microphone. You still hear a little bit of hissing from the fans. I talked to DJI about this, I emailed them a few times, and they said they're working on a new firmware that's gonna actually change the frequency of the motors and the fans. So prepare for a higher quality sound in the future. So I'm very excited about that. Regarding audio levels, gains, and all that, they also notified me, DJI notified me, that they are going to add in a new feature in the app for the Osmo where it's going to show you the audio levels and the gain levels for the microphone. That way, if you're using an external mic, it will notify you if you're distorting your sound. So that is a very useful thing for me as a videographer and cinematographer. Audio levels are very important. And hopefully in the future, they did not tell me about this yet, but hopefully in the future, they will allow headphone monitoring by using your phone's headphone jack. I think that would be so awesome if they could do that. I hope they find a way to do headphone monitoring. That way I can listen to my audio while I record. Another function, or not a function, another thing that I wish they had in the app was to adjust ISO and other manual settings while the camera is recording. Unfortunately, if the camera is set to manual mode, you will not be able to change the ISO or shutter speed during recording. But if you are in auto mode, it will automatically adjust the ISO and shutter speed. Now, this camera is a fixed aperture, which means that it's fixed at a certain opening of the iris, which is 2.8. The X5 cameras actually allow you to change the aperture. This maximum aperture on this camera is 2.8, solid, and it is beautiful 4K camera recording at 60 megabits per second. Now, for future adapters and mounts that are gonna come out, it will all mount on to this screw here. So let me show you how to take off your iPhone holder. So I'm gonna take off the mic. Now, to remove your iPhone holder, okay, first you gotta remove your iPhone. So to remove your iPhone, you're just gonna, sorry iPhone, I'm gonna have to squish you. You're gonna grab your iPhone and gently just stretch it some more until the clamps release it, just like that. And then you can put your iPhone away. And once you put your iPhone away, you will have a thread here. Let me focus up on that. Come on, GH4, focus, focus, focus. There we go. There's a thread here. We can go ahead and unscrew that thread, and the phone holder will come off. And then this will allow for future upgrades like mounts, bike mounts, you know, tripod mounts, all that stuff. Come on, focus, GH4, focus. There we go. So here is your thread for future adapters and stuff like that. And it's very nice quality. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on my iPhone holder back on. And that's how that works. So any extension or mounts are gonna be using that screw or that mounting area there. So just keep that in mind. Okay, there we go. And of course it's adjustable, the cell phone holder, so you can flip it there, flip it anywhere you want. So I want to talk to you guys now. This is going to be the tutorial part of the video. If you go on DJI's forums, you can notice that people are having a huge problem filming with the Osmo simply because of the up and down movement. So if you notice, if you're walking around, you know, sometimes your arm has the habitual way of going up and down, up and down, up and down, and that is seen in your footage. So me being a Steadicam operator, I own a few glide cams. I know how to do the walk, okay? Now the walk is very, very simple. You wanna bend your knees, right? Now what I usually like to do, I like to hold the Osmo not completely with my hand, but like with a few fingers. That way it can absorb a few bits of shock, make it a little bit easier. So what I like to do is I like to bend my knees and basically go from heel to toe, nice and smooth. And let me show you some footage of how that can look like. I did 2 different shots of the same thing, one using the technique of the bent knees, heel to toe, and one shot without the bent knees, heel to toe technique. Also, the less fingers you have on the Osmo, the better, because the less movement is transposed into the footage. Now remember that you get this awesome strap with your Osmo, so I always recommend wearing it just in case anything happens. Also, I did not talk about the battery life. The battery life will give you about 50 minutes to an hour. On standby mode will get you about 6 hours. Now, to put your Osmo in standby mode, let me show you how that works. You turn on your Osmo. Okay, there it is, it beeped, it's ready to rock. Flip this switch once, you're in standby mode. To wake it up, flip that switch again. Now to turn it off, hold down the switch until it beeps. Now it's turned off. And on your iPhone, you'll also have the option to wake it from sleeping just by clicking on that option. You get 4K footage. You get 2K footage, you get 1080p footage at 120 frames per second. It's awesome. I do recommend buying a ND filter because it does not do well in dynamic range without an ND filter on a summer day. So that's a good thing to notice. Overall, I am extremely happy with it. There's a few kinks I want worked out, such as the audio issue. I also want it to track selfies better. So when you put it in selfie mode by clicking the trigger 3 times, 1, 2, 3, it will track you while you're steady. But if you turn around like this, the camera has a tendency to drift away and do its own thing. So that's another thing that they're gonna fix in a further in a future firmware update. So stay tuned for that. Overall, guys, it's an awesome camera. One more thing I want to tell you is that it does get hot. My first Osmo had a malfunction with the fan. The fan stopped working and it got really hot. And then dronefly.com gave me a brand new Osmo and with no questions asked. Once you master the Osmo, your footage will never look the same again. And me coming from a glide cam system, I can say that this is gonna be used a lot more than any of my other systems. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy your brand new DJI Osmo. To charge your battery, don't forget it comes with a charger. It's very straightforward. I don't even have to talk about it unless you want me to. Comment below if you don't know how to charge your battery. To remove the battery, you flip this cover here, right? And there's a little red button. You press the red button, this pops out. There's a little tab on the battery here, and you just pull that tab and out comes the battery. It's a tiny battery, all right? And it's simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I bid you adieu.